And now let's work on our alert system. We will create a state for that. This property is alert will be responsible for opening and closing this alert. Severity, if it is success, if it is error, if it is info, if it is warning. And the message we are going to show to the user. Timeout, if we passed a timeout here, it will disappear after the seconds has finished. And the location where we are going to place this alert, if it is in the main page or in the model. Let's add also the loading, so we will make our project prettier and more professional. And let's pass them in the value object. Now let's create these components in the components folder. The alert, we will call it notify because alert is already used by Material UI. We don't want to mix it with that component. And the loading, we'll call it loading. Let's start with the alert. Let's add the margin button. And we will add reference. This reference, we are going to use it to scroll to this notification when there is error or some message we want to show to the user. Collapse will close it or open it depending on the value of is alert. Let's import all of these properties from alert in our context. Let's extract all the properties here. And also set alert to close it when there is timeout. Is alert here. This is the alert from Material UI. And inside it, our message. Let's add the props of this component. Severity is our severity in the context. And this is for the closing button. Let's make the close icon small. This is label when we hover over it. And on a click, we will close the alert. We will set the alert to be the old alert, and we will just change is alert to be false. And this is will close our alert. Let's now work on scrolling to this alert if the user in another place in the page, and also when there's timeout to close it automatically when this time is finished. Let's use the reference to scroll to this alert. And pass this object to scroll smoothly. Now let's work on the timer. When there's timeout, let's check if the timeout is not null. We will create a timeout. And when this timeout is finished, we will set the alert to be false. This will close our alert. Let's now clear this timeout. Let's now add a component to show this alert in the main page. We'll call it main notification. and we will import the location property in the alert object from the context to check if the location is the main. Only if the location equals main, we will show the notify or the alert on the main page. Let's add it in the app component before the nav. We need to add another alert in our model. Let's put it before the content. Only if the location is model, we will show this notify or alert. Let's set this alert in our login when there is an error, so we will check it. Instead of this default alert, we will set our alert to show this message. Let's first import it from the context. Set alert. Is alert to be true, so it will be open. Severity is error. Message is the message of the error. Timeout, let's make it stay for 5 seconds. And the location will be the model. Let's delete the old alert. Let's check that when the passwords don't match. Let's try to register with a new account. Let's add 2 different passwords and submit, and it is here. Let's wait a little to check if it will disappear. It has disappeared after 5 seconds. But we have problem here. If we closed before these 5 seconds finished, the other time we will open the model, it will stay in there, in that model. So let's use effect to close it when the model is closed. This use effect will depend on the model property is open. We will check if it is false. That means we closed the model. And we will check also the alert that it is still there, not closed. Still there is alert to be a true. But first let's import this alert here to use it. If it is true, and also the location is the model. In this case, when the model is closed, we will close also the alert. Set the alert to be all the properties and is alert to false. Let's check now. Let's close it before 5 seconds and let's open it again. It's not there anymore. It's working. Let's now search for all our old alert and replace it with our new alert. Let's replace them one by one. This error will trigger if there is a problem with the logout. This is in the main page. So we will set the location of the alert to be the main page. Let's set all the properties. This alert to be true. Severity is error. Message is the same message of error. Timeout, let's make it here 8 seconds. And the location is main. Let's copy it and let's delete the old one. Let's go to this in the options. This error will be triggered if there is problem with deleting the document or the file. So it will be shown in the main page. Let's first change the old current user to be the one from the context. And import our set alert from auth context. Let's paste the same. This is in the progress item. This will be triggered if there is a problem when we add a record of the image. Let's first replace this current user we simulated before to be the real one in our context. And let's import also the set alert. let's paste it here. And also let's change these properties of the user to be the new one. Let's copy it and paste it for the email and the name and the photo. This is the object will be added to the document of every image. Should be now from our current user we received from Firebase authentication. Let's also replace this. Let's import set alert from the context. And set the state of alert to show this error. It's also in the main page because this hook is responsible for showing the images list in the main page. Now let's replace these in our login component. All of these alerts should be in the model. Now let's go and build our loading component. This backdrop from Material UI, and we are going to use the circular progress, infinite circular progress. We will change the color to be white. And we will use our loading state in our context to control opening and closing this backdrop or this loading. Let's change the z-index to be in top of everything. So we will use the default in the theme, and we will adding to that default value some value. Let's make it 999 to be sure that it is on top of everything. Now let's add it in the app. On top of model component. Now let's use it in our login. When we submit the form, we will show that loading. So let's import the set loading from the context to set this loading to true state, so it will be shown. And when we finished, we will make it disappeared by setting the value of the state to be false. Let's check it. Let's try to log in and see if it will appear. And it is here.